Tonight on Carolina News.
I think premature celebrations might sort of take us down the wrong path.
South Carolina hit a major milestone in the fight against COVID-19. But are people easing up too early? The University of South Carolina announced in-person graduation. How businesses are handling it.
I know you can win this game. Just do it.
And the 101-year-old superfan. See how Sister Jean's legacy in college basketball continues. These stories and more on Carolina News, starting right now.
From the University of South Carolina, your news, your sports, your weather. Carolina News begins now.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Summer Rogers.
Good afternoon and happy Monday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tori Sloan. Today we begin the third week of South Carolina's vaccination phase 1B, and over the weekend DHEC reported that more than 1 million South Carolinians have begun that process.
Ethan Still is live in the field to update us on the vaccination rollout and what it could mean for our day-to-day lives.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Gamecock Park mass vaccination site where South Carolinians are getting their first and second doses of the COVID vaccine. Of that 1 million residents who have begun that process, about half of them are fully vaccinated. Now, with the increase in vaccination does come a shift in the attitude towards the pandemic, and some are worried that some people are moving on a little too quickly.
I think premature celebrations might sort of take us down the wrong path.
I spoke with Dr. Divya Ahuja, an infectious disease physician with Prisma Health in the University of South Carolina, who's concerned about increased risk associated with this more relaxed attitude towards the virus. Over the weekend, St. Patrick's Day brought celebration to Columbia. Videos of these events show significant lack of social distancing and coronavirus guidelines being followed.
My daughter showed me a ton of those videos, like I said, oh boy, it's a bit concerning.
This debate has continued at the national level as well. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul argues that those who have been vaccinated shouldn't feel a need to be overly precautious. He says that health officials are sending the wrong message to Americans.
Instead, you should be saying there is no science to say we're going to have a problem from the large number of people being vaccinated. You want to get rid of vaccine hesitancy? Tell them they can quit wearing their mask after they get the vaccine.
Like Ahuja, Dr. Anthony Fauci is optimistic for the outlook of the pandemic, but stresses the importance of continuing to take precautions against the virus.
We're not there yet. We're accumulating data, and once we're there, then the recommendations will change.
Now, much of our conversation was focused on a rushed return to normalcy. However, Dr. Ahuja does say that this milestone is an important one to celebrate for the state of South Carolina. He says actual herd immunity is still a ways away. However, every person that gets vaccinated is a step in the right direction towards slowing the spread. For Carolina News, live from the Gamecock Park vaccination site, I'm Ethan Still.
As vaccinations are increasing across the state, COVID-19 numbers remain low. DHEC is reporting almost 350 new confirmed cases. There were 16 new deaths. The positivity rate for tests collected on Saturday was 4%. DHEC says that more than 578,000 South Carolinians are fully vaccinated.
Miami Beach is declaring a state of emergency due to large and maskless crowds from spring breakers. The curfew begins at 8 p.m. and officials declared a state of emergency to contain any spread of COVID-19.
Receiving too many people, and too many of the people that are coming are really coming with a desire to just let loose and go off, and that's creating a policing issue that is endangering, frankly, everybody.
Spring break crowds in the city have already led to hundreds of arrests, and the curfew is placed in Miami's popular entertainment district and aims to limit the masses of spring breakers. We may not be in Miami, but it's still beautiful outside.
And Brianna Moody is at the Kennedy Greenhouse for our first forecast. Brianna, what can you tell us?
Thanks, Tori. It's a beautiful day in Columbia, but how long will that last? Currently, there's a thunderstorm coming our way, so you may want to start thinking about your weekend plans. I'll have that and more later in the show. Back to you in the studio.
People across the nation rallied this weekend to honor the victims of last week's Atlanta spa shootings. 6 Asian American women were killed in the shootings. Organizers say the shootings were just the latest example of the rise in violence against Asian Americans. People at the rally say this is their time to take a stand.
I'm Asian and I'm a woman, and if I don't stand up for myself, then no one else will.
The shooter says his actions weren't motivated by race, but police say it's too early to determine a motive. Detroit police are still looking for a suspect who stabbed 8 people outside of a hookah bar Sunday morning. Police say the fight started inside the bar but moved into the parking lot. None of the 8 victims died from their wounds. They were each treated at a local hospital.
Greenville County Sheriff's Department arrested a man charged with the murder of his wife 20 years ago. Police say that David DuBois murdered his wife February 10th in 2001. At the time, there was not enough evidence to charge him, but earlier this year, the cold case revisited the case and found new evidence to prosecute DuBois. A Sumter County mother has been charged with killing her 13-year-old daughter after investigators say she disconnected her from a medical ventilator for 10 hours. Sharma Harris has been charged with voluntary manslaughter. The investigation and medical records indicate there is enough evidence to prove she intentionally killed her daughter. She is in Sumter Lee Detention Center awaiting her trial.
The largest asteroid to ever pass by Earth zoomed past us last night. The asteroid is more than 2,040 feet wide and is traveling at more than 77,000 miles per hour. It is not very close to Earth, so there's no threat that it will hit us, but the asteroid will not come this close to Earth again for 30 years.
Coming up on Carolina News, the University of South Carolina will be having an in-person graduation for their students.
Columbia's hospitality industry is getting ready to welcome students' family to Columbia.